I believe I'm here. I'm not sure, but I think I'm here.
We can see you, Greg.
Okay, cool. All right. Um, should we get started? Are we recording?
We are ready for you when you are, Hearings Officer Frank.
Okay, we'll go on the record now. The time, I usually hear a little thing that says we're on the record, but I'll just assume we're on the record. The time is 1 p.m., a little bit after, on August 18th, 2026. This is a time for the hearing for Deschutes County file numbers 24726, 000218-CU and 247-26-000219-MC. My name is Greg Frank, and I am the assigned hearings officer in this matter. Before we turn to the particulars of this hearing, what I'd like to ask Mr. Miller to do me a favor and let me know how many folks are both in person and or online for this hearing. And in the same vein, if you could find out how many intend to testify today.
We have 2 people online and no in-person participants.
Okay, and are we aware if the people online are applicant folks, or do we have any idea what their position is?
Those are all on the team. So, Hearings Officer Frank, we have no online people wishing to testify. The people that we have online are from the applicant's team.
Okay, cool. I'm going to modify my behavior just a little bit here, and I'm going to, and the procedure, if I could. I have received a message from Mr. Miller indicating that the applicant has a request for a continuance. And if that be the case, and there are no folks here wishing to testify other than the applicant, then I'm going to abbreviate the opening comments for this hearing to have Mr. Miller do some housekeeping and make sure we all know the procedures as far as how to testify and what to do. But after his comments about the how-to, is I'm going to ask the applicant to give me their thoughts and requests or other comments regarding a continuance, and we'll proceed from there. So, Mr. Miller, if you would take over at this point in time and run us through some of the basics of this hearing process, I'd appreciate that.
Thank you, Hearings Officer Frank. Good afternoon. For the record, my name is Nathaniel Miller, and I'm an associate planner with the Deschutes County Planning Division. The item before the hearings officer is the request for a conditional use permit for school use. The companion application, a modification of conditions, request amendment of the 2018 church approval, and specifically condition of approval B. Today's hearing will proceed as follows. First, staff will explain the hearing format and how to testify at today's hearing. The county has established time limits for testimony, which are the applicant will have 30 minutes, public agencies will have 10 minutes, the general public will have 3 minutes, and the applicant will be afforded a rebuttal period of 10 minutes. And the hearings officer can modify or eliminate these time limits as needed. The testimony portion of the hearing will be conducted as follows. The applicant will present first, followed by agencies. Next, persons in support will testify. Then those in opposition will testify. And anyone neutral to the applicant's request will testify last. Afterwards, the applicant is afforded an opportunity to present any rebuttal testimony. And then finally, staff can make any closing comments. This is a hybrid public hearing with both in-person and remote participation. Before starting your testimony, please provide your first and last name, as well as your mailing address. For our in-person participants, if wishing to testify, please add your name to the sign-in sheet. I will use this list to call up participants for their testimony. After your name is called, please come up to one of the tables at the front of the room before beginning your testimony. For our remote participants, if you want to testify, you must be logged into Zoom or have called in using the Zoom dial-in option. When Hearings Officer Frank asks if anyone attending remotely would like to testify, you will need to use the raise hand feature to notify staff. To do this, you need to press the raise hand button on your computer or smart device, or if you called in, dial *9. In addition to oral testimony, if anyone has written testimony to submit, please hand it to me directly. If you are in person, please submit your written testimony to me after your testimony. If you are participating remotely, you can submit your written testimony via email to me at nathaniel.miller@deschutes.org. Hearings Officer Frank and staff are responsible for conducting an orderly hearing. Any testimony or behavior which is inappropriate will be addressed and may result in that member of the public being removed from the hearing. At this time, we would like to know if there are any objections to the format of the hearing. If you are attending remotely and have an objection, please use the raised hand function. Seeing none, I will turn it back over to Hearings Officer Frank.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. What I'd like to do now is, as I indicated, I'm going to use a somewhat different format since I'm aware that there's a possibility of a request for continuance. So what I'd like to do is hear from the applicant and find out what the applicant's goals or desires are in this case. At this point in time, if there, excuse me, if there is no continuance request, then I have additional comments that I'd like to make before we start the hearing process formally. So at this point in time, if applicant or applicant's representative can identify themselves for the record, first and last name, spell both first and last name and mailing address, that would be most appreciated. I'm listening to your comments.
Hello, this is Wendy Killington. We've been having technical difficulties on our end. I didn't hear almost anything of what staff said. I moved into an associate attorney's office and I have an army of IT people and things trying to fix my computer. So apologies for all of that. But this is Wendy Killington. I am the attorney at the Killington Law Group for the applicant, and my mailing address is P.O. Box 2209, Lake Oswego, Oregon 97034. And yes, we have conferred with staff, and I believe that may have been conferred to you, Mr. Hearings Officer, that the applicant would request an extension of time for the hearing to be conducted on October the 8th, which I believe is a time that's available to you according to staff. That will give us an opportunity to work through some of the issues that we were frankly pretty surprised about that came up in the staff report, and provide whatever supplemental materials might be necessary, and hopefully go into the hearing with a more collaborative approach. So that would be our request. We've also provided the county with a corresponding extension of the statutory processing period. And so with that, we would respectfully request that the hearing be continued to a date certain, being October the 8th at, I believe, 8 a.m. with the, again, corresponding requested 120 day extension.
It's 150 in the county, 120 in the city, and I understand your request. Mr. Miller and Ms. Killington both, I just want to confirm we're talking about an 8 a.m. hearing on the 8th?
I believe so.
Did I mishear that?
I was just going based on what I'd understood staff to say. We're, open for whatever works for you. but 8 a.m. would be fine for me if that's what works best for all of the county people.
Okay, Mr. Miller, how about responding?
That is correct, Hearings Officer Frank. We did propose some times, and I'm doing a share screen right now, displaying those options. And we did confirm with the team for the applicant that Thursday, October 8th at 8 a.m. is an available time.
That is an acceptable time for me. So I now have written on my calendar, and I'm assuming there'll be a mail-in invite for 8 a.m. on October 8th, 2026 for a continued hearing. And I understand, just Mr. Miller, can you confirm that we did receive a written request from the applicant extending the time from this hearing date until that hearing date for the opportunity for the county to complete their decision-making process?
Hearings Officer Frank, I can confirm that the applicant's team provided us with a clock extension. We do want to point out that according to Deschutes County Code 22-24-140, when we can create a continuance to a date and time certain, per this section of code here, the 150-day time limit is suspended at that time. So we would, with the date and time being confirmed now, we would expect this section of code to provide that coverage and suspend the 150-day clock. We did request an extension of the 150-day clock at the time, just because we were unaware of, being able to agree on a date.
Okay. I think we've got that covered as far as the tolling of the clock. All right, Ms. Killington, I appreciate it. We will schedule the hearing at your request for 8 o'clock in the morning on the 8th of October, 2026. As Mr. Miller indicated, the relevant section of the Deschutes County Code is 22-24-140, and within the provisions of that section of the code, it requires that I ask the following question. I think it's been answered, but I just want to make sure, because I'm obligated under that section to allow anyone who wishes to testify today to do so and submit any written evidence into the record today if they're here. So I'm just going to confirm with Mr. Miller, once again, just to be clear, do we have anybody wishing to testify at the hearing today?
Hearings Officer Frank, there is no one here to testify.
Okay, then I think based on what I have read in the code, I think we've covered that section. Ms. Kellington, I look forward to your working with the county planning staff, and if in fact you have a more collaborative approach, that'd be great. If not, I look forward to hearing both your testimony, argument, and or your staff, your team's testimony and evidence, and the same would go for Mr. Miller and the county. The 8th hearing is open to anyone who testifies. So if someone isn't here today, they have an opportunity to present evidence and documentation into the record at that time. So Ms. Kellington, I'm going to ask any questions or concerns about what we're about to do. Let's continue the hearing.
No, thank you. It all seems perfect, and we really appreciate your courtesy and accommodation as well as the county's.
No problem. Mr. Miller, any questions or concerns?
No comments from staff, Hearings Officer Frank.
All right, then, since there's no one going to testify, I'm going to, at this point in time, close this initial public hearing. We will continue this hearing until October 8th, 2026 at 8 a.m., at which time we will have the full formal hearing, and that includes testimony and submitted documentation. My suggestion always when we have a continued hearing is that the earlier the folks can get together and exchange information, exchange documents, exchange evidence. The earlier you can do that, the better, so that when we come to the hearing time, perhaps we can narrow the issues down so that all of the, particularly me, but all of us can understand what's going on. So with that, we will close this section of the hearing, and I look forward to seeing you all on the 8th. And I hope technologically, Ms. Wellington or Kellington, it works better for you. I had problems myself, and I apologize for that. So we'll see you on the 8th.
Thank you.
This hearing is now closed.
Thank you. Bye-bye.